Hey all, and welcome to the office, I guess. A little bit of a different feel for this video with holidays and traveling and everything like that. I wasn't able to connect with Gerard, the guy who usually does my videos post-race and pre-race and all that stuff. So I thought it was still important to get an update out. Like I said, I committed to kind of chronicling the journey throughout the year, and so whether it goes well or not, I wanted to make sure I gave an update in a somewhat timely fashion, and yeah, just kind of kept with that. So doing this the no budget way. So thanks for putting up with that for this time around. Yeah, so Ironman Arizona went well. Obviously almost as well as it could have possibly went. Joe Skipper had a fantastic day. Hats off to him. He was just flat better on the day. I did the things that I could control, and I hit my targets pretty much all day long. And so to get beat when you do a really good job of executing your race plan, you tip your cap, go into the off season, and figure out what you can do to bridge that gap. So yeah, overall, swim was pretty good. I was quite happy with where I came out of the group. I got off to a good start, which I had been struggling with the last couple of races. Those that follow me regularly have heard me talk a lot about that, and so yeah, I got off to a really good start. And obviously, the first two guys were off as to be expected, but I really needed to be in that next chase group, or the first chase group, and that's where I was and was pretty comfortable. Got to the first turn, and first turn on the far end, so I guess it would be the third turn. We did a little bit of a box. First turn was about 100 meters in, which was a bit chaotic, but that was all right. Got to that, just past the halfway mark, and was able to notice that Joe and Sam were in the group with me swimming, and to give myself a chance to the win, I felt I needed to put a little bit of time with them on the water. And so I didn't actually make it to the front, but I tried to get to the front, and the guy that was leading the group kind of wanted to keep leading, and so kind of forced the pace a little bit. Even though I didn't actually get to the front, I kind of forced him to work a little bit harder. We surged, and Joe was able to stick in, but I think that's where we got a little bit of a gap on Sam. Yeah, that was something that I did obviously out of respect for what they can do on the bike and run, and so I wanted to give myself a little bit of a buffer. Came out of the water just a couple minutes down from Ben, which I was quite happy with, and had a really good transition. Ran through, came out of transition in front of the rest of the group. I might have came out of the water fifth in the group, but got through there and got on the bike and got rolling in a pretty good spot. Coming out of T1 in third is never a bad thing for me. Christian and Joe both flew by me really fast, and there was little chance that I was going to even attempt to go with them that early. I was able to basically ride on my own for the headwind section out, I guess, so that's like 19 miles to the first turnaround, and that's where Sam and a couple other guys ended up catching me, and I rode with them for a little bit, but yeah, it was just wasn't yeah, I ended up getting dropped by Sam and one other guy, and then kind of broke the rest of the group up. So then was in no man's land again. Ended up catching that other guy at the beginning of the third loop, and so yeah, I mean, the three loop run bike course is a little bit chaotic. The second loop was actually a little bit worse than the third. So it was just make sure you get your aid ahead of time and do all the little things. Like I missed two of the three aid stations on the second lap, which I planned, on a cooler day, that's kind of forgivable. I had planned on trying for all of them, but if I wouldn't actually like slam on the brakes and slow down to get it in, I needed one each lap was kind of the plan. And I was able to get, I was able to do that. So I had all the nutrition and everything that I needed, and for the most part, the age groupers were doing a really good job of keeping to the right. And yeah, so it was a chaotic, but we got to the T2 safely. I got the splits going into T2, and knew I had my work cut out for me. I didn't want to be that far off the lead for sure. Especially with two guys up there, that was not where I wanted to be. It's not really where I anticipated being either, given the power that I was able to hold. I was quite happy with how I biked, and I stayed aero. Everything felt good, for most of the rides. So I was, those boys rode hard, and I think. Unfortunately, Christian paid for that a little bit towards the back half. But on a cooler day, you can get rewarded by having an aggressive race plan, and Joe certainly did. So yeah, I just the number one focus was, Joe already had a slot and knew that. So the number one focus was getting into third, and securing the slot. And obviously Ben had never done a full before, so it was a bit of unknown how he was going to run on the back half. I figured Sam was going to run quite well, and then Christian is capable of running well as well, but has faded a little bit in the back half in the past. So I didn't really know how it was going to play out overall, but just focused on getting into a rhythm and doing my thing. And I did go out with a really aggressive run plan, and part of that was by design. I knew I was going to have to run very well to get what I wanted out of the weekend, and so yeah, that's what I did. And it was just run hard, but still cover all the little things, cover all your bases, get all the nutrition that you can. And just don't screw anything up, so you give yourself a shot in the last 10K. And that's really what it came down to. Unfortunately, Sam was having a little bit of a rough go. I think he was struggling with some cramps, so I caught him pretty quickly early on. He had about a 4.5 minute gap on me on the bike, but I was able to catch him the first quarter of the race, and then it was a pretty lonely run. Just hoping that every split I was whittling a little bit of time off of the next couple of guys, and the time was coming off, but it wasn't coming off very quickly, and so it was going to come down to that. Like I said, the last 10K, who was running the best, and thankfully I was able to. Put the last 10K, or keep it together the last 10K. I haven't done that well. Like in Des Moines, I kind of fell apart with 10K to go. Same with Kona. And so that was, really a focus on, doing all the little things, making sure I get the nutrition plan sorted and get that all right. And I was able to basically pass Ben and Christian right about the same time, and move into second. And then it was just, hang on and don't screw it up at that point. So overall, I'm happy with how everything went. It was a tough day. I'm happy to have put together a solid performance, swim, bike, and run. Really hit the targets that I wanted to. Can't scoff with the 2:35 marathon split. I'll take that most days. And hats off to the other guys who obviously performed really well as well. It was great having Zoot there and the QR team there. They all met me at the finish line. That was awesome. It was great having them cheering for me all day long. So it just kind of adds a little bit, especially since I traveled solo to this one. I don't usually go by myself to a full, but the whole work thing got in the way for Ash. So I had to go solo, and so they kind of were the step-in family for me for the weekend and support crew. So it was awesome having them out there as well. But so overall, I'm feeling pretty good. We're a couple days post-race now, and I'm happy with how I'm recovering and everything. I've been on the Daytona start list for a while now, and no reason to pull the pin on that. I don't have to do a whole lot of training between now and then, so I'm going to go out to Daytona and hopefully have one more good race to end the season, and then really focus on a nice extended downtime. Probably a little bit more so than I typically do, just with all of the racing that I've done this year. It's been a busy year, but the great thing is I have a Kona slot now, and so I can be basically in control of my schedule for next year. So I don't have to start it quite as early. It takes a little bit of pressure off the front half of the season. So like I said before, I've done a lot of things right this year, but the game keeps on getting elevated, and so I need an extended block of training to focus on bridging the gaps that exist right now, and keep on pushing my way forward, so I can have as good a day as possible on the Big Island next year, if that's where we end up. We'll see how true those rumors are, but TBD. But yeah, thanks all for tuning in. The next one, Gerard will be with me out in Daytona, so you'll have a little bit better quality of video on that one. But thanks for sticking it through, and we'll see you in a few weeks.